haven't updated it yet.
Well, any mail they send you from the Secretary of State, they send to the address on your driver's license, and they don't forward Secretary of State mail. So you got suspended for having 3 crashes in 2022 until you have a reinstatement hearing and they determine whether you're valid to drive. Well, they set a reinstatement hearing and you didn't show up. So you should know all this if you ever went into the Secretary of State's office. So essentially, you haven't done anything since June except get arrested and post $1,000 bond. You need to go to the Secretary of State and find out what you need to do. Your drinking, driving stuff is more than 10 years old, so that doesn't have anything to do with it.
I actually gave up drinking after that one.
All right, well, good for you. But you got all these tickets in short order. A couple of them are crashes, and they say no alcohol involved.
The Marshall one was driving down the highway, and a guy like slowly merged and bumped the side of my car because he was in a company vehicle.
Well, you don't need to explain it to me. You need to explain it to the SOS. They're the ones that took your license. So we've got, if you get a driving suspended, you're going to be suspended for at least 1 more year. If it's reduced to no ops, you'll be suspended for 1 more year. If it is reduced to a 257, 326, maybe you'll have some chance to get it. But the prosecutor adjourned it from the May date for you to do some things by June 19th. And then you promptly failed to appear on June 19th or ever after until you got arrested.
All right, guys. Today's courtroom encounter started with a defendant who had been digging himself into a deeper hole for months without even realizing it. The judge quickly reviewed his driving history and discovered that his license had been suspended after multiple crashes in 2022. According to the court, the defendant was supposed to attend a reinstatement hearing through the Secretary of State, but he never showed up. Even worse, he apparently ignored every opportunity to fix the problem afterward. The judge explained that important notices had been mailed to the address on his driver's license, but because he never updated his information, he missed critical deadlines. Instead of solving the issue, he continued living as if nothing had happened. As the hearing continued, it became obvious that the defendant had spent months avoiding responsibility while hoping the situation would somehow disappear on its own.
Are there new charges for the arrest?
I don't know. You don't have a new ticket, do you?
Mm-mm.
How did you get arrested when you had to post that in December 8th?
A mistaken identity.
What county were you arrested in?
Van Buren has in Paw Paw.
How long were you in jail in Paw Paw?
2 or 3 days, and then I came out here to Centerville.
You were here from the 8th to the 11th, which is 3 days. So you did 5 days in jail, and you posted Judge Patterson was not very happy about this. And the jail gave you today's arraignment day. Judge Patterson wasn't here. So
Yes.
he spent 5 days in jail and posted $1,000 bond.
Right. At this point, we're understaffed. He's served more jail time than he probably would if he gets convicted. We'll just give him the 257, 326 and he can go on his way.
Thank you, Deborah. That's a blessing to you for the new year from the county prosecutor's office.
I appreciate it.
Although you haven't really done anything to get this squared away. So where you are after today, you're going to be square with me. I'm going to give you 5 days jail credit. Use your bond to pay your fine and cost. And then you're going to get $775 back. You need to go to the Michigan Secretary of State. And
Do you know if that's still appointment only, or are they doing walk-ins now?
they do walk-ins, but you go take a number. For example, if you try to walk in Kalamazoo, you probably wait a long time.
I always went out till like What is it, the outskirts of Pawpaw or like the smaller towns?
Oh, yeah, there is one in Pawpaw, there's one in Dowagiac, there are several in Kalamazoo. The one in St. Joe County is in Sturgis. But you need to go in there.
This is where the story took an unexpected turn. The judge learned that the defendant had recently been arrested after a case of mistaken identity in another county. Although the arrest itself wasn't directly related to the suspended license charge, it resulted in several days behind bars and a hefty bond payment. Surprisingly, the prosecutor acknowledged that the defendant had already served more jail time than he would likely receive if convicted. Because of that, the prosecution agreed to reduce the charge and allow the case to move forward without seeking additional punishment. The judge accepted the recommendation but pointed out that the defendant still hadn't done anything meaningful to restore his driving privileges. While the court was willing to show leniency, the judge warned that the real problem remained unresolved. The defendant still needed to face the Secretary of State and finally deal with the mess he had ignored for so long.
And figure it out. Now, who brought you here?
A friend of mine.
All right, what's her name?
Her name?
Yeah, her name.
I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm sorry. Randy.
Right, all right, what kind of car is she in?
It's a black Audi.
It's out in the parking lot right now?
Yes, it is.
All right, we'll confirm that.
I suggest you ask him that question again, because I looked at the camera.
He drove himself in this morning?
She was getting tired close by, so.
Yay.
I asked her last minute to bring me.
Is she in the car right now?
Yes, she is.
All right, go get her. Ask her to come in. You're an idiot.
I just didn't want to miss another date.
Well, so you lied. You didn't want to. Yeesh. This is very foolish and I was insulted. It hurts my feelings when people lie to me. So you looked me in the eye and lied to me about driving here, which I suspected you had when you first walked in late. Deborah, does that have an effect on your plea offer? Just is what it is.
It is what it is.
I know it's dumb, but just trying to get it taken care of.
All right, you already did 5 days jail. You're not trying to get everything taken care of. You're doing it all the wrong way. Deborah, I'm not going to hang you up here. Thank you for your help. Very
Thank you,
well.
Your Honor.
All right. Good morning. Which case are you folks here on?
All right, guys. Just when it looked like the hearing was wrapping up peacefully, everything completely fell apart. The judge casually asked who had driven the defendant to court that morning. The defendant confidently claimed that a friend had brought him. But moments later, court officials reviewed surveillance footage and discovered something shocking. The defendant had actually driven himself to court despite having a suspended license. The courtroom immediately became tense. The judge wasn't just frustrated about the illegal driving. He was angry because the defendant had looked him directly in the eye and lied. According to the judge, dishonesty in court is often worse than the original offense itself. What should have been a straightforward resolution suddenly turned into a lesson about accountability. The judge openly expressed how insulting it was when people attempted to deceive the court after already being caught breaking the law.
We're here visiting.
Oh, are you Tom?
Yeah.
Oh, well, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Good morning, Tom.
Good morning.
This is Miss Davis from the prosecutor's office.
Hi.
Good to meet you.
Meet you.
And this is Matea from the public defender office. And we've got our brand new court officer, Vincent, here. He's happy to be here. But we're just about done with the morning. All right, 5 days jail credit, 5 days. First of all, I better do the plea. You acknowledge that you were driving a car here in St. Joe County on May 4th of 2023?
Yes.
And did anyone threaten you to get you to plead to this charge
No.
or promise you anything?
No.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Good morning. What's your name?
My name is Randy Brown.
Randy, do you have a valid driver's license?
I do.
According to Mr. Bray, you were gonna drive him here and then he foolishly drove himself here. Let me see your valid driver's license.
It's in the car.
All right, well, I guess I'll take it on faith. Why did he drive?
Because he knew the way here. So,
You gotta know the way to the jail, but why bring a licensed driver if you're gonna drive illegally anyway? But will you drive back?
yes, I will.
All right,
I don't think she would let me drive.
go ahead and have a seat. Thank you.
So
Where
basically,
was-
she allowed an unlicensed driver.
Yeah, that's what I
drive. So
charged.
she's committed a crime, he's committed a crime. It's the last business day of the
Boy.
year.
It would just
fine.
go and sin no more.
The drama intensified when the defendant's friend was called into the courtroom. She confirmed that she possessed a valid driver's license and admitted that she had come along intending to help. However, when questioned about why the defendant drove instead of her, the explanation made very little sense. The judge couldn't understand why someone would bring a licensed driver and then choose to drive illegally anyway. The situation became almost absurd. The defendant had every opportunity to avoid additional trouble, yet somehow managed to make the worst possible decision. Even the prosecutor appeared surprised by how unnecessary the entire situation was. Despite being clearly irritated, the judge recognized that the defendant had already spent several days in jail and decided not to impose further punishment simply out of frustration. Still, the courtroom atmosphere made it clear that nobody was impressed by what had happened.
Well, you already did 5 days in jail, and just because I'm irked is not a reason to put somebody in jail, but you're foolish. I tend to believe you're not gonna do anything that you need to do to get your driver's license back. You're gonna keep bumbling along and keep getting stopped. You've gotta go to the Secretary of State and make an appointment for a driver license review. They set you an appointment. Now, one thing you could do when you go to the Secretary of State is change your address on your driver's license. If you are living at Alpine, at least you can get your mail from the Secretary of State. So you need to go in there, if nothing more, to change your address. Also, when you move, you can no longer easily change your mailing address. I had a visitor this summer who was a postmaster mistress. Anyway, she was a postmaster in Pennsylvania, I think. Anyway, she informed me in order to change your address at the post office, you have to go in twice. You have to go in and get the form. You have to fill it out and bring it back with ID because people were changing other people's address. It was really easy. You just go in and fill out a change of address card. So, but it's even harder with the Secretary of State. So your friend's going to drive home. You're going to go out to the counter and they're going to give you some money back. And you should use it to pay any unpaid tickets that you have. Now, what you said is you have a repayment plan. Or, no, man, that was the last guy. Do you
Now came the part where the judge delivered a serious reality check. He explained that unless the defendant took immediate action, he would likely continue getting stopped by police and collecting new charges. The solution was actually simple. The defendant needed to visit the Secretary of State, update his address, schedule a driver's license review, and follow whatever requirements were necessary to regain his driving privileges legally. The judge emphasized that many of the defendant's problems stemmed from failing to keep his information current. Missing mail, missing hearings, and missing deadlines had all contributed to the situation. According to the court, Continuing down the same path would only create more legal trouble in the future. The judge practically begged the defendant to stop making excuses and finally handle the responsibilities he had been avoiding for years.
Do you have any unpaid tickets anywhere else?
I think 2.
Well, the Secretary of State may be able to tell you that. Thanks. Are they ready to go?
They're ready to go.
Thanks. That's earlier than you usually have to do them, but I won't have time to do them this afternoon.
No, I usually have prep this early, so.
All right, thanks. Do I have a copy of that waiver from Mr. Matthews, Sarah? Is it? All right, you're good to go. I got some advice. Don't come back. You got a year-end Christmas, New Year's special deal. You lied to me and you didn't apologize, so you can just go and not come back here anymore.
I plan not to. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah.
That was fun. Nice seeing you.
It really wasn't. I had a guy who didn't show up, Mr. Malcolm, and I have another lady that has a history of not showing up that allegedly is going to be here.
In the final moments of the hearing, the judge wrapped everything up with one last warning that was both humorous and brutally honest. After confirming that the defendant would receive money back from his bond payment, the court encouraged him to use those funds wisely by paying off any outstanding tickets and beginning the process of fixing his license situation. But before letting him leave, the judge addressed the elephant in the room one final time. The defendant had lied in court, failed to appear for hearings, ignored official notices, and continued driving illegally. Yet somehow, he was walking away with a remarkably favorable outcome. The judge described it as a holiday special deal and made it crystal clear that he never wanted to see the defendant back in his courtroom again. And judging by the defendant's response, he had absolutely no intention of returning.